Coach June Jones, welcome to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I hope you're doing well, sir.
I'm doing very good. How can you be going wrong in paradise?
No, I can imagine. That's why I said it. You have much better weather. What's the weather like there now?
Every day it's the same, 82 and sunny. Perfect.
Oh, great. And the scenery when you look at the island, it's so beautiful. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous place to call home, I'm sure.
It is. It's a great place to live. Great people. Great outdoor community. Of course, because of the weather, it's a beautiful place.
All right, so I wanted to get you on to talk about several different things. I want you to help us get to know Tua Tagovailoa. When you look at first 13 practices or 12, not counting the one today, this guy's just an excellent thrower, and it's made the transition quite nice. I'm not saying he's going to be the starting quarterback by no means, but his skill set is eye-opening when you see the young man throw the football.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I think he, has proven that at a competitive level, every competitive level he's gone to, all the camps all over. I think the number one camp when Trent Dilfer had him in the Nike camp about 3 or 4 months ago, said that he was the best by far. And so, he's a great kid on top of being a talented kid. And I know that the people in Tuscaloosa and all of Alabama will enjoy the next 4 years watching him.
What makes him so special when you talk about his skill set? What is it that makes everything click so well?
Well, first of all, he's just a real competitor. I mean, he wants to win, and he outworks everybody. He'll work more, throw more, do everything that way. So when you have that type of work ethic and some talent to go with it, obviously you're going to play the game at the highest level. He's an accurate passer. I'm impressed. When I had him 2 years ago, his junior year, watching him throw the deep ball. He can throw the deep ball very, very well. And if you can do that at a school like Alabama where you got receivers that can fly down the field, he's going to make a lot of plays for you.
One of the things that I've noticed about him and some of the players that I've talked to, some of the former players that have a chance to watch him throw, his pre-reads, when he goes out and he's sitting there looking at the field before the snap, that seems to be a lot further ahead than your typical freshman quarterback. What is that a contribution back to?
Well, it goes back to, what he's done. I mean, he's thrown the ball, has been starting for almost 4 years at St. Louis High School. And, of course, they, live by the pass and die by the pass. And he's just been able to do that day after day after day. And excellence happens when you repetitively do things. And, he has he learned more about coverage, when he was 14 years old than a lot of first-year college players get. So, he's had a lot of experience throwing the ball. He's played in big games. He's played in big camps all over the country for 2 years. And, I'm really excited to watch the game on Saturday. We'll have it on TV here also.
Yeah, we are too, because I think it's one of the big sells that you have a chance to get to. When you look at Tua Tagovailoa, let me ask you from someone who's coached at a high level, college, also the pro game as well. Does his height concern you at all?
It doesn't. It doesn't concern me. You can kind of take a Drew Brees, for example, or even a Doug Flutie, the shorter guys. What I've found with height is that if a guy's been successful at the height he's at a high level, from the time he's playing Pop Warner to the time he's playing college football to the time he goes to the pros, they have lived with that, and they know how to throw it. They know how to throw it in lanes. They know how to throw it between guys, around guys, over guys. It comes with the territory. I think that Tua probably, I'm saying this, I think he may grow another inch or two. I know his younger brother I had last year at Capollet, and he's at Thompson Central, I think now. Just moved a month ago or a couple of weeks ago. And he is the same way. He has a real excellent arm, and he's a great kid. And I watched him throw the ball through passing lanes and anticipating things that normal guys don't do just because they throw the ball all the time.
Yeah, I think his accuracy is when I look at a quarterback that can 20 yards down the road or 20 yards down the field, and you take a dime and you tape it on a wide receiver, and you say, I want you to hit that dime. This guy can probably hit that dime 90% of the time. His accuracy is something that I haven't seen in a freshman in a long time.
Well, accuracy is the key to every quarterback. That's why when you compare the great ones, they all have different arms, but there's one common denominator. It doesn't matter if it's Dan Marino, Elway, Joe Montana, Steve Young, Tua Tagovailoa, whoever it is, the guys that are accurate with the ball are the guys that excel and play at the next level. Tua is a very accurate passer, and he's just a great kid, and he's a leader, and I just think it's going to be really fun to watch him grow.
Let me ask you, there's a myth from some of the folks saying that he didn't play against the best competition there on the Big Island. Help us understand that, because I see a lot of players come in from that state that play big-time college football. What is the talent like on the island?
Well, the talent here is at a very high level. But, coming from Dallas when I was at SMU for 5 years, I watched the high school players there. I think it's equivalent to the Texas high school football. And only a few teams in California probably are competitive here. You may get a De La Salle, a Bishop Gorman from Vegas. But our public school team, Kahuku, plays even with those guys. And St. Louis beat De La Salle a few years ago. So, you get a pretty good feel that the kids here, there's 4 to 7 teams, maybe 7 teams on island that can take their game anywhere in America and play.
Knowing Tua Tagovailoa the way that you do, being his offensive coordinator there at St. Louis High School, a lot of people have talked about the hype will go to his head a little bit. It will inflate that, and that will hurt his development. We had Trent Dilfer on last week, and he gave him high praise. They have some that's been critical, saying that you shouldn't give this type of compliments to a young player. It will hurt his growth. Knowing Tua the way that you do you think that will interfere with how good of a player that he will be in the coming years?
I really don't. What I've found in Tua is that when the game is big, he gets bigger. Whenever he went to those camps with the other 20 quarterbacks, he competed and wanted to prove that he was better. So his competitiveness will not allow him to have that what you just described. That won't happen with him.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Let me ask you from a coaching perspective, someone that understands the way that coaching works. What do you see in Coach Saban, and what has led him to be this successful from a coaching perspective like you have?
Well, number one, he's had very good players. I learned at a very early age, you become a good coach if you have good players, and the places he's been, he's had very good players. But at the same time, there's been a lot of other coaches that go to those places that have good players and don't excel, and they don't. But Nick has proven that he's done it. And what I think he has, and it's not anything magical. He's copied Bill Belichick's system, basically how he does things. He worked for Bill. He worked for Jerry Glanville. And when I watched him on film, they're still doing a lot of those same things. And Nick obviously got a good background on how to prepare, how to game plan, how to attack protections, all those different kinds of things. And the one thing he's consistent. You know what you're going to get when you coach for Nick Saban, just like you know what you're going to get when you coach with Bill Belichick. And there's no surprises. And because of that consistency in the way they are, it breeds success.
Coach Jones right now, June Jones here inside the game in Tuscaloosa on Tide 102.9 and 100.9. Coach, I'm not curious. I'm just curious if you know anything about this NCAA rule, because you coach at the high school level. You've coached at the college game. The new legislation that was out last week blocks a high school coach from working at a camp. But if you work at a camp, they're blocked for like 2 years prior, 2 years after from recruiting any of your players. Do you have any opinion on some of this stuff that happened last Friday with the NCAA? I don't know if you've read some of this stuff coming down.
Yeah, no, I did. I've kept up with it for quite a while. I think it's the NCAA again thinking they're I just am so in disagreement with the NCAA. Period. I think you could make a rule on one sheet of paper, maybe 20 rules, and get rid of that telephone book they have. And I think it's what's happened to the NCAA is they think they're bigger than the game, and I don't think it's helping the players. I don't think it helps the kids to ban the coaches from working those camps. A lot of kids get opportunities that would not have opportunities from those camps. And when you penalize the kids, you're not doing the right thing.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Nick Saban stood at the podium and has talked about it 2 different times, went on a rant taken up for high school coaches. When I see high school coaches, I'm sure with your college experience, volunteering and driving kids to camp, to go to camp and to see if they've got a scholarship opportunity. I don't see now. Now, does it happen with these guys trying to get better jobs or whatever? Maybe it happens, but I think it's a rare situation. I don't see
it's a rare situation. It really. I'll give you a good example here. We have a thing called GTA camp, which I would say probably 400 college coaches came from the mainland to watch a 3-day camp for the high school kids here. Now, all the high school kids would be at this camp, and so those college coaches got an opportunity to see them. So the opportunity just went by the wayside for 500 to 800 kids here in Hawaii by that rule, which I think is just so unfair.
Any thoughts on when you look at college football as a whole right now from the offensive side of the football? I'm just curious, where do you see college football traveling on the offensive side of the game?
Well, I've always said this, that the football just goes in big circles, and I kind of see it rounding back away. We started in the middle 80s. Well, really, I started in the middle 70s, but got into pro football in the middle 80s with what people, 4 wide receivers and 3 wide receivers and a tight end and spread in the field. And of course, that now has become the way to play the game in the pro level. I think the biggest difference has been that the colleges are still saying that they're throwing the football, but they're really not. They're running what they call these RPOs, the run pass option, and that's not going to be something that's going to ever last for a very long time in the NFL. I think that the quarterbacks have benefited from throwing the football more, but at the same time, I think the evaluation process from the pro scouts and the pro coaches to evaluate a Patrick McCombs, to evaluate these different guys, Deshaun Watson, that are running these different offenses that they're not going to be doing in the National Football League. And so the evaluation process, even though they get to see him throw more balls, it's still going to take a real learning part of it to get to the pro level.